Hey now.
What's up, guys? Good morning. I'm in a car right now.
Red. I don't like it. Where's the green at? No, you're right as usual.
I was just going to say I listened to the Nestle CEO talk this morning about earnings. Basically, long story short, they're talking about cutting costs and just moving out the bad performing SKUs. Sorry, and basically about jobs that they're going to look in 2023 about at that metric. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, Putin just announced martial law for all the annexed regions. Maybe that's why pre-market is going down a little bit more as well.
I play everything that moves.
I bought puts for ASML, but yeah, obviously that didn't work out.
Building permits came in a little higher than expected, just a tad bit, just a slow. Yeah, just slightly. Well, nothing. Like someone said that the pre-market's a little green. Like I figured that's why. But it's only like 30,000 extra building permits than expected.
But is it higher month over month?
Yeah, it is actually, but only like about 20,000 higher than previous.
I do want to point out that UK CPI year over year is 10%, and that's the official number. So potentially put
That is pretty violent.
Yeah, and EU at 9.9.
Which is only like less than 1%, less than 0.1% than expected.
Is anyone playing Tesla for earnings?
Well, I'm not I'm not getting into earnings.
IV is also fucking high.
Sounds like puts is the play, right? If that's the case.
it's a really wide short strangle. I don't know about puts. Or you could probably do a huge buy rate. So like, let's see, 52-week low. Maybe sell 160 calls and buy 100 shares.
I sold.
I don't think anyone here can buy 100 shares.
I sold my Tesla a while ago, but yeah, that was good. Still had it.
Like all the money in my savings account, I could get like 10 shares of Tesla.
All right. Now, what other plays do we have?
Still short Carvana. I've done a little bit more research on this play, talking to buy here, pay here lot owners. They're saying like things that like a Chevy Cruze they used to pay $800 to $1,200 for are now at auction. Keep in mind, this is their auction price for anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000, upwards of that $6,000 price. So keep in mind these buy here, pay here lots. they're running like 50 notes to 100 notes. So they're only selling like 50 to 100 total cars at a time, which means they're churning their inventory pretty quickly, which means if there's a drop in price, these buy here, pay here guys can probably flex a little bit faster because they're not sitting on a massive inventory. Whereas Carvana has a huge inventory that's been bought at pretty expensive prices. So, yet again, the short thesis on Carvana is looking pretty good.
With the Carvana, I did more digging too. They just recently acquired and integrated with their last earnings release the purchase of the Odessa Auto Auctions. It's a very big auto auction. They received a $3.2 billion loan from JP Morgan Chase and one more bank. Ally Bank is currently providing them a $2 billion floor plan. What the auto auctions allows them to do, a quick synopsis, is it gave them so many more service centers to actually try to fix their cars right, with a lot of access to technicians. But also it'll give them some income from every time they sell a car at the auction. Well, with the auctions being down, I don't anticipate them going up, but it will slow their decay that we are expecting.
So still not quite bullish, just slightly less bearish.
Yes, longer term bearish.
So if we're playing that play for Carvana, I think we should play the same amount for CarMax because they do outsource their mechanics as well, mechanical work. And in regards to their backings of cars they have a lot of gas guzzling. Last time I checked online, their inventory, vehicles that are sitting there for a while. And I remember, Helicopter talking about the backings of gas guzzling vehicles was an issue.
I also think it's interesting that Ally Bank was the one that provided the $2 billion floor plan line of credit to them. I was talking yesterday, I believe, about how I'm also bearish on Ally Bank. As I said, had some intuition around the fact that Ally is disproportionately sitting on bad subprime auto loans and bad mortgage debt as well. So, I mean, I think they could be in a rough patch as a bank. That was sort of my intuition. I had also maybe been given a friendly story about that. But now hearing some concrete numbers, I mean, that's just a $2 billion line of credit to one company. I would wager Ally has been financing Carvana for longer than that. You normally don't just give out $2 billion loans to people you just met.
I agree. And Ally Bank had one of their higher ups step down yesterday. Pre-market, it caused them to fall about $1.50. I didn't check to see if it recovered, but I am bearish on Ally Bank as well.
Just to confirm, is this Ally Financial in the ETF?
I believe that, yeah. And when they finance their car loans, they used to use Ally Bank and Ally Financial, but it is Ally Financial.
They also act as the financing arm for General Motors. General Motors wrapped all of its financing off to Ally Bank. So I mean, they also have exposure to the new car market as well. So if the price falls out of the used car market and buying used cars becomes more appealing, and new car model sales slow because of that, they would also be sitting on the General Motors financing as well. Which would, again, be bearish for Ally Bank in this case, right? This is all predicated on the idea that the bottom drops out of the used car market. If that doesn't happen, then they could, at the current rate, I think they could probably stay afloat and then, survive into when we see the next bull market.
And not to be the dead, we'll get off the car market, Hardy. Lithia did report their earnings this morning. They were only off by about a little more than $1, I believe, from their expected EPS. So they did miss. Of course, their revenue was up. They added 6 dealers in Wisconsin during the quarter, and they used that revenue as saying our revenue is up. The new car market's falling. They still did average $6,000 per unit front and back end, but that's down from where they were previously. So the new car market is falling off, and it should go faster now. But they were 99% institutionally owned, so there's not a large pre-market drop for them, but I see a pre-market drop in AutoNation and Penske so far.
I'll be going into Ally ALLY 26 strike put for this week, 21 October 22, going in about 30 cents. It looks like I probably open up it, probably buy 10 of those, so about $300, give or take.
Helicopter, are you gonna see how it plays out until Thursday for the AN and SAH plays?
Absolutely. SAH hasn't had they've had more movement this morning, but they don't have many bids. They report end of the month. I'm going to keep those. I have November 18th on them. AutoNation, Penske. I've added Penske in because of Penske's 40% of their businesses in the UK. That's going to take another chunk. They blamed their miss last quarter on the FX exchange, so it should be greater this time. So I'm keeping all those through the rate hike November 2nd, and then doing, of course, what Hardy always recommends: once I reach 100%, sell half and let the rest ride till I'm comfortable.
All right, cool, man.
What about Netflix earnings yesterday? And somebody up here yesterday was playing the earnings. Must be having some tendies.
Yeah, I'm trying to order a special bottle of ketchup right now.
Did anyone have Generac puts? Let me explain. Generac came out and did a FedEx and changed their entire guidance without earnings being due. They have demand, but their installers cannot install the generators fast enough, and they are sitting on a large supply. They were down over 10%, I believe, this morning.
Generac requires special installers? Or what size generators are they requiring special installers? Because I installed in a previous house a 2 kilowatt Generac myself.
Yeah, I'm just reporting what was on Squawk Box this morning, CNBC, but it showed a large drop on their share price, and their quote was they are having trouble getting the installations done through the distributors or through their private companies that buy from them.
So it sounds like, unlike Hardy, most people don't have, a ridiculous amount of technical expertise to be able to put them in themselves.
In my defense latter day, I did have to file a bunch of actual permits and have a plumber sign off on the work.
Yeah,
Where this house was, you couldn't just run a gas line without having someone check it.
Hardy, I was just curious. You have JPM and BAC for your banks here on the put side, which will obviously play great today. Do you have any insight on WFC by chance or GS?
So how do I put this? Wells Fargo, is that WFC? Let's see.
Correct.
So Wells Fargo came to Delta Neutral but didn't hit Gamma Max. So unlike JP Morgan and Bank of America, if I remember correctly.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Oh, these are Delta Neutral plays. So Wells Fargo did hit Delta Neutral, but their option open interest is lower than the top 5 Delta Neutral plays. So it could be a worthwhile play. It just wasn't in the top 5. And then Goldman Sachs is far from Delta Neutral relative to the other 3 banks. So maybe puts on the horizon, but not yet. And then FAS, which I believe is the short finance ETF. Is that right? Yeah, FAS is the 3x short financial ETF, is in between Gamma Max and Delta Neutral. So you could probably buy calls on FAS with the expectation that it goes back to Gamma Max as a mean reversion type play.
Thank you. I did buy IoT yesterday on the call side. Not sure really anything about the company. I know you guys were talking about yesterday. Looks promising. I'm not sure how much it will hold up though. And I'll be cashing out this morning.
I'll be looking at Netflix the first half hour, hoping for a massive IV crush and that the price stays pretty stable. And then buy puts. And then I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback after this massive gain.
Yeah, with the Netflix gain after hours, it was quick. Probably within an hour, it was up $30. Pre-market, it's actually down from where it gained yesterday. So I think it's lost steam. I'm looking at the same thing. Watch the first hour after opening, see how it's looking, and then probably go to the put side.
Yeah, I'm just checking how much IV goes down. If it stays high, then I won't enter.
I'm feeling
Right.
pretty bullish on China. Sorry for interrupting. And thought Babo still has some room to grow, and Xi Jinping will be obviously elected. At least that's the word on the street, October 22nd, which I believe is a Saturday. So, does anyone have any good plays for that China media special?
Keep in mind that China hasn't yet announced their official Q3 Q3 GDP and other important economic indicators. So proceed with caution and assume that there will be massive IV crush if the GDP announcement is nowhere near what's expected.
Do you have a date for that by chance, Hardy?
No, it was supposed to have been announced and they delayed it. They did not announce the new deadline yet, as far as I know.
It's probably after he's reelected.
So he's elected on Saturday, or at least it says it's finalized Saturday. So we assume that there'll be word on it your Saturday.
Calls on Yang.
I do want to point out that broadly speaking, across pretty much all Chinese stocks, the IV is up. So while I agree in principle, calls on Yang, which is the China Bear 3X ETF, I would probably go in with a lower allocation than you normally would because I don't know how hard IV will crush.
Yeah, also, just a word of warning, I made this exact play in 2016. I thought China was going to be reporting worse than expected economic data. I bought calls on Yang. They came out with the data. It was better than expected. My calls went to zero. Then 2 weeks later, they brought out a revised economic estimate that was more in line with the bad numbers I expected. But you know, that's the kind of thing that happens when you invest in China. So just word of warning there, guys.
So buy puts after the first report and wait for the revised version.
I don't think it'll happen every time, but I'm just saying this has been my past experience trading this particular ETF.
Are calls impacted by it being a PFIC, or is that only for shares?
Are you talking about the ETF Yang?
Yeah. It's a foreign ETF earning passive income as its main form of income. So it counts as a PFIC. So I know shares are taxed heavily and confusingly, but does that also impact calls as well?
Hardy?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Okay. So my understanding is Yang is counted as a PFIC, passive foreign income company. And so I know shares on those types of companies, if you hold them for at least 30 days, you have to do really confusing, annoying tax forms. It's a pain in the rear. I don't know if calls and puts fall into that as well for money gained.
That's a question for a licensed tax professional. I enjoy a certain status which allows me to aggregate all gains and losses and ignore aspects of PFIC.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Also, I've never held Yang over 30 days, buddy. So sorry.
Moving right along. Is there any place for this Russia standoff? I'm not really sure how to interpret the headline. If anybody wants to kind of help me with history here.
What was the headline?
Putin announced martial law for all the annexed regions, which just means there's probably going to be curfew and that the military has more powers.
Well, it's still a
The
war
Russian
zone,
military?
so I think it's a
Yeah, the
whopping
Russian.
nothing burger.
To what extent will this curfew be enforced? Or
That will probably be announced tomorrow because it starts tomorrow. But they're not exactly sure what Putin means with martial law, but it starts tomorrow, so probably then there will be more information.
I really don't think there means anything special. It's an active war zone. That's really what it is. I don't think that's going to make any impact on the market.
it would become a potential problem, assuming, oh, yeah, I don't see how this would impact markets.
But the only thing that could really impact the market is if, because he now considers that Russian territory, if he says, oh, we're going to use nukes now because we said it would be in a defensive capacity, and then we got bigger problems on our hands.
No, I don't really think that's what's happening now. It's more that the Russian military gets a bigger mandate to hold up order, and that Ukrainian civilians who still live there are now almost seen as lesser people. So, like I said, they could introduce curfew and a lot of other nasty shit, like taking possessions because, yeah, they can.
You mean like they haven't been doing that already? I think this whole thing just has no point. So let's move on.
I agree. I'm sorry about that. I do want to bring up one thing about Russia in regards to the Black Sea and the nuclear so-called scare. Is that just a headline, or is that something we should take into consideration for next week?
I mean, I don't know what you guys. I don't really understand. Our 63rd Bombardment Wing has been flying with live nukes on their planes for the first time since the Cold War, since April of this year. So we've got a bunch of stealth bombers and B-52s ready to fly over to Moscow in 2 hours and glass that entire area. So this idea that it's like nuclear tensions are elevated, they've been elevated. Like they have been elevated for months. So this whole nuclear saber rattling is just for the news cycles, and it's for CNN and everyone else to boost their ratings.
Thank you.
Are you sure? What's your source for that, Scald? Because Wikipedia is listing the 63rd Bombardment Squadron as an inactive Air Force unit.
Yeah, I'll get you an article. 1 second.
Yeah, I think I saw some posts on the Denver subreddit about there's some people citing some B-52s being flown.
I guess China bought some land near Japan and USA land bases, so I'm not sure if that how that even works. But I would assume that this is just another headline. There are a lot of military headlines going on right now. So calls on Boeing as well as Lockheed Martin, I would assume.
Hey guys, I'm new here, but I wanted to see if anybody would speak on the Albertsons dividend.
Won't be finalized till 2024.
Well, what exactly did you want to know about the Albertsons acquisition?
Well, they're paying out a special $6.85 dividend, and the ex-dividend date's coming up. I was wondering how I'm going to lose money on this, basically.
You're going to lose money by holding call options through the X date, because what will happen is the market cap will affect the price of the stock will rise based on current interest rates, so that institutions can borrow money at 4%, raise the price so that dividend divided by price on an annualized basis is slightly higher than 4%, and then keep the spread, and then dump the shares after the dividend. So that's usually what happens for these special dividend type plays.
Well, thank you for the explanation. But isn't Kroger going to buy it at $31 a share anyway?
Kroger has offered to buy at $31 a share, but I believe the shareholders of Albertsons need to approve the trade or approve the acquisition, as well as let it pass the standard regulatory and legal review. So the fact that the current price of Albertsons is $26 a share implies that there is some risk that the deal will not close. If the risk was relatively small, the price would be a lot closer to $31 a share.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much.
How are we looking on that report, Scald?
Yeah, it looks like it's 393. And the 63rd was like the parent wing, and then now there's a different bombardment wing that is off of the defunct one. Also, there's an article that was just out yesterday about direct quote, rehearsal for Armageddon underway as NATO holds nuclear exercises on border with Russia. I mean, this was literally yesterday. So, again,
Yeah, but we've been playing nuclear war games pretending we're going to go into war with Russia since, the Cold War.
Yeah, but the Aegis fleet has been anchored off the North Sea for also since the start of the Ukraine war. Those you don't know, Aegis fleet is our nuclear interceptors that are ship-based. We also have ground-based things like FADs and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm just saying nuclear posturing has been on high alert since the start of this whole thing. So every time I see this saber rattling, maybe it affects markets due to the headline, but as far as the actual posture of the United States, it's not changed from high alert since the start of this war.
Does anybody have any other plays for today? I'm just curious what you guys are doing from the calls, option plays, that is, calls or puts.
Hi, you guys. I'm pretty new here, but just to bring back something that OK Helicopter was talking about real quick. I saw an article today about AutoNation, and it said this was about an hour ago. It was reported that AutoNation insiders have dumped $307 million worth of stock. So I believe the car market is definitely headed for a nice little decline, especially used car market.
To what extent will the resold Hurricane cars from Ian's wrath dilute the used car market? Or are people smart enough to try and detect a flood car and avoid it?
See what happens. Is Caesar in here? He's our spy whisperer. I don't know if he's down here in the comments. No,
He's on California time.
he's probably asleep. But yeah, 0 DTE puts spy. We'll see what happens.
So he gets sleep, is what you're saying?
Calls on Adderall. What up? Oh, hey, while we're talking about pharmaceuticals, let's talk about Fiserv, which is commonly misconfused for Pfizer. FISV. I mentioned it yesterday. Looks straight and flat today based on yesterday's movement. That doesn't bode well for the strangle. However, it's still early. We got time until their earnings. So, again, those are purchased for October 28th. Not sure if anyone else got in on this. I don't know if, based on their current price, I'm not sure if I would go in on that strangle on Pfizer. What are your thoughts, Hardy?
IV on Pfizer went down from 3 days ago. And then if we look at that specific expiration, it's still up, slightly higher than a week ago. So everything except the front option is down from IV perspective. So as long as you think the IV will expand faster than theta, or as long as you think the IV multiplied by vega will grow faster than theta multiplied by days will take value away, strangle's still on. Otherwise, short the strangle.
I sold about half of my Tesla position yesterday at an 84% gain, and I'm going to sell some puts at around 120, long-term puts at around 120.
I saw a DD on WallStreetBets the other day that was calling for Tesla to go to $40 a share. What do you think of that human genome? Is that crazy talk or?
I think it could be possible because like with Tesla, the weak link with Tesla is Elon Musk. If he wins the lottery or gets hit by a bus or flies off to Mars, Tesla's pretty much done. On the other side of things, a lot of the other car companies, Mercedes, Audi, Ford, everyone else is pushing their own versions of their electric cars. Some of those companies have a loyal following. Ford, in particular, with their trucks, they have fanboys that buy the F-150 Lightning, just like Tesla has fanboys that buy the Tesla products. And the difference between the PE ratio of a Ford and a Tesla is just immense. So I see Tesla. There's a good opportunity for them to drop. I don't know if it'll be down to 40, but like I said, I sold half of my position, and I'm selling puts at around 120, 140 range.
Ford also, their Lightning, yeah, they do have a following, but I mean they're $120,000, $130,000 vehicles, and I heard their tow capacity is absolute dog shit. Excuse my language. Because the batteries just die when they try to tow anything, which a lot of, I would envision a lot of people who have trucks use to tow their whatever.
Well, the workers that use the Ford trucks, they're usually not driving long distances. So that one guy that did that article about the towing ability, I think all electric vehicles have a pretty shitty towing ability. But most of the workers that use the F-150s, they're not driving hundreds of miles. They're like local construction workers. I have a construction company, and a lot of the stuff that we do is local. Less than 200 miles a day that we drive. so they don't have to tow the trailers a long distance. What I like about the electric trucks is that we have construction trailers that are solar powered, and if we can tie the electronics of the truck in with the rest of the rechargeable batteries and the rest of the tools and stuff like that, it's a nice solution. Honestly, I mean, we're not driving 100, 200 miles to get to the job sites. We're driving 25, 50 miles to get to the job site. So towing is not really a big issue. If you're hauling stuff cross country, then I wouldn't use a F-150 anyways. I'd use like a diesel or something else.
Touche.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, and not to go on a tangent here, but most hot shotting opportunities are done through an F-150, and you're not, like was reiterated earlier, you're not towing a lot back and forth long distance if you're not using it for commercial reasons.
Correct. Right on.
Hardy, just real quick, when you say IV is up, can you kind of elaborate kind of how that metric works in regards to what makes it go up and what makes it go down, if that's not too long of a question?
So implied volatility basically is the uncertainty factor or the jiggle factor, which affects options prices independent of the underlying price. So when IV is high, uncertainty is high, and therefore sellers of options want more risk premium to cover their perceived risks.
And is that on the spread, or is that on just in regards to the pricing itself for the sell side?
Think of it as excess premium that you pay on top of whatever the delta value of the contract is.
Thank you.
So I'm looking at a bank called Hancock Whitney. That's HWC. So that's HWC. The reason why I'm interested in this bank is they're really boring. They're a boring bank. They don't do anything fancy. They do regular bank things on regular bank days, irregular bank times. Because of this, I think that they haven't done anything too risky. And as we're heading into, we've been in uncertain times and we have some uncertain times ahead. Just looking at these guys doing really vanilla things in the finance sector, I think I'm going to long them. So I'm going to try to pick up these February calls. And I'm going to specifically try to pick up these February $50 calls. If you guys look at the options chain on this, there's almost no volume. There's almost no volume on any of the contracts. So that being said, I'm going to try to pick up these $50 calls for as cheap as possible, as close as possible to that current bid. And, maybe if there's red day, the whole market's down, maybe HWC dips down and these fill. But I think that's just sort of a play I'm making. I don't know if I'll even be able to get into it, but I'm going to try.
For those of you in the comments asking for more plays, sort the comments by top, and you should find 10 plays derived from very special crayons to satisfy your appetite.
Also try and incorporate more of the plays coming from the comments in kind of a conversation. Just trying to get it to work on stream right now to have it live updating Reddit comments as well. So hang tight.
Nice.
Yeah, good work on that opinion.
Yeah, cheers. I hope more than 10 people use it.
If you build it, they will come.
Doubt. Okay, what else we got?
Have we gotten a tar astrology update today?
Well, Kari was like,
Astrology. Okay, well, we got a split in the trajectory today. Bull trap, or actually a bear trap, was shown. A trajectory going downwards towards the moon. And we also have a bullish signal as well. So it's like kind of up and up today. It's crazy.
Double indemnity.
where's OK Effective? I just brought up or invited up OK Effective, who keeps spamming fuck Ryan Cohen. So if you're out there, why? Why do you want to fuck him?
I mean, he's hot and he's rich, so.
And definitely has nothing to do with what, like, Jimmy spiking a couple days ago, Carl Icahn being pictured with him.
I mean, the royal icon.
Yeah, can't disagree with you. He is an icon. Ha 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 ha. Anyone else still playing the memes?
Icon, love it.
That is a good meme. Icon.
I'm still holding my GameStop shares.
Me too. IV play $237 calls. Hard display.
Mass Gamer, can you tell us about this Tilray pump that just happened? Like, what do? I understand the one that happened due to Biden overturning federal marijuana convictions. But this most recent pump, I'm at a loss. Like, I don't see what the catalyst was for it. You know, I don't know if anyone else, feel free to answer also. But there was this pump on Tilray. Just trying to figure out what do.
No fucking clue, to be honest, because I don't really know much about Tilray. I should probably do some investigating, figure out what the fuck went on. But I'll look on ticker.com. I'll see if they have any updates.
And I'll be looking at puts again.
Right.
Gentlemen, good morning.
That's sort of my plan, right? Maybe puts on Tilray because it's starting to pump back up there on no news, really, from what I found. So, you know, until there is federal legalization, I think puts on Tilray isn't a terrible play.
Wow, you weed bears. Ambassador, what were you going to say?
Morning, guys. What I have to say probably has nothing to do with what you guys are talking about right now. It's just a play I found yesterday, later on in the day, and I'm so mad because if I'd bought the $7.50 puts, I'd be good right now. It's for a stock symbol called OLPX. Is anyone familiar with it?
I am not. Tell us.
No, unfortunately, but Scald, to answer your question about Tilray, they have a merger with Afria Incorporated, so I'm assuming that adds something to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, I just have a quick question, if you guys don't mind.
Oh, we do mind. Sorry, let's let Ambassador finish and then go to you. Fuck tomorrow. So, no, we don't know that company. What was the name again?
It's called Olaplex Holdings. And so basically, they finished trading yesterday at $9.79. And some news was brought up about some bad chemical or something that they put in their shampoo. Because they have some line of shampoo that's supposedly super cheap and is distributed all over the place.
Yep.
And so one of the C-level people quit yesterday. And so I just started, I was looking for something else and I just noticed that everyone kept talking about this. And I watched the stock plummet like 40%. So initially, my plan was to buy $7.50 puts because they were only 10 cents. Because I figured that, probably in the morning, it's going to be around, maybe it might go back up and maybe go to about $6 or something like this. So what's going to happen then is that they're going to announce today that they probably have to put back a few things. So the stock is going to be worthless by the end of the week, if not early next week.
What's
It's going to be
ticker, Ambassador?
OLPX.
It shows.
And
already down 45% now in pre-market. This thing is moving
I
down.
know. And I was just looking, I don't know if you guys also use option profit calculator. It's the only option I've been able to find in a long while that has 100% likelihood that it's going to happen. And if you're able to get those $7.50 puts, the price that you get them for, if you can get them at what they were selling them for yesterday, then, you know, if just one of them would be at the current price it's at now,
There's
I
no
don't
way.
think it would happen.
There's no way you're going to pick up at the previous close price.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, even if you don't, and you picked up the $5 ones, you're still gonna make, like, by the end of the week, you'll still make a pretty good kickback.
Thank you for that.
With
Thank you. There's 10 minutes to market.
with the way, okay,
That was a good play.
with the way the okay.
Oh,
I'll get off.
No, that was good. That was good. Thanks for coming up and sharing that.
No, sorry.
Any thoughts on that?
I'm reading
Oh, sorry.
their guidance. They changed their guidance about 18 hours ago. About 15 to 20% less revenue expected. I'm not reading anything, though, at all about bad product.
Is that a friendly story? This bad product thing?
Whoa.
I can actually bring up the stuff. If you guys give me a minute, and I'll just put it as a comment for anyone who wants to.
Yeah, thank
see
you.
it.
Post it in the comments.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, no sweat. Or if you just look it up on StockWits, you should be able to find quite a little bit of information on it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
There's a lot of.
Oh, sorry.
No sweat.
Can I just have a quick question again?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you before. Yeah, my question was, like, I'm actually new to like, this is my first time being part of the pre-market chat. And so I had a few questions, actually. My most important one was, is GameStop, like, is that even a stock that people should even still be buying at this point? Or, like, is the short squeeze still possible? Or
There are plenty of people who believe in that thesis and have committed money because they believe in that thesis. You don't
Okay.
have to agree with them, but know that they exist.
yeah, and also I'm hearing a lot about the computer share thing. So what happens if all of the shares were to be transferred to computer share?
We don't know. It has never been done before.
Okay. And my second question is what happened to, like, the original Wall Street bets, like, before it was like, is there a separate group now for what happened to the original Wall Street bets guys, or is it just like this that has
The
like
short
everybody
answer is,
included?
in the wake of the GameStop frenzy, a lot of folks who don't really know how to do their own due diligence came and flooded the sub. And all they could do is create memes and post them. And so it flooded out a lot of folks who would otherwise post some compelling due diligence.
Yeah, because that's also what I see. I don't see that same analysis that used to be there before. All right, thank you guys for answering my questions. And just to be clear, this pre-market meeting is going to be Monday through Friday, like every day at 8:30 to 9:30.
When the markets are open.
As long as the market's open.
And hey, buddy, if you want to add your own due diligence to the Wall Street Bet sub, you're allowed to do that. Like, where it's not like you can do that. You can still add due diligence.
Yeah,
posts.
I would consider that, but the only thing is, like, I don't see that. Like, for some reason, like, the community is not really as serious, I guess, in a way that it used to be before. That's what That's what the problem is. Like if I were to put that there, it wouldn't really like get proper feedback on it, or people who would comment.
No, you absolutely would. Either if you post in the daily thread, you should have people chiming back at you, or even if you post in the new one, like the fact that we have a lot more users means that you're gonna get a lot more eyeballs on your thing, get more responses.
Okay, and for the pre market, like the meeting that we're doing right now, it's going to be mostly like the same people, like you guys as the hosts, I would say, or
No, everyone is free to come up. Why don't you continue listening, come in tomorrow, and you'll get the vibe. It's a good vibe.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
start coming to them. And one more, Organigram. What do you guys think about that?
Ticker.
What's the ticker?
OGI.
They are too low. They're below the market cap, so we don't talk about those. Market cap limit, just so you know, is 500 million.
Yeah. Okay. So anything below, you don't speak about. All right.
The
So thank you
goal
guys
is
so much.
to avoid the perception of market manipulation.
So didn't we have the 10-year and 2-year inverse yesterday, which is a leading indicator of recession?
You mean we're not already in one?
Doesn't it always do that?
Well, now we have a
But
green flag.
now we've got an official indicator telling us. What about the 3 and 10? I've not looked today. Is 3 and 10 also lagging?
Probably. But I guess another way to view this is it's one less excuse to say that we're not in a recession, or one less reason to say we're not in a recession. So that said, what other plays do we have to share?
I just wanted to add one quick thing to F tomorrow. I think Wall Street Bets is full of sarcasm, and of course, seriousness is greatly appreciated. So I think you have to kind of read between the lines if you're going to be part of the group, and not take it so serious. Because behind the jokes, behind the sarcasm and the immaturity and all that, there's a lot of good plays and there's a lot of good insights and a lot of good facts. So as long as you just kind of reserve that seriousness tone and just kind of accept that, okay, there's a lot of comments and opinions here, and just kind of learn to weave through it. And that's really how you gain the value out of it, in my personal opinion.
Hey, thank you for that.
Treasury yields inverted yesterday for the first time. I think that's what the question was. The 10-year and the 2-year's been inverted for a while.
Yeah, the 3-year and 10-year throws a lot less false signals. That's why I ask. When that goes inverted, it's go time, and it's go time downsies, folks. Back to that other play. It's the chemical that was in there is called butaphenol methylpropanol, and on labels it appears as something called Leal. It's a fragrance, and the European Union's looking at banning it. It's been linked to infertility. So you put this thing on your hair, and then like you have a hard time having kiddos. So this is back to the.
What's that called? What's that called? Could you perhaps put it in the comments?
Yeah, I can do that. But yeah, so it was in these people's like hair coloring and shampoos.
What's the Plan B pill again? I mean, the shampoo.
Sounds like we just need to remarket it as a scented contraceptive.
Just tell girls you're using that shampoo.
I'm gonna buy some good Christmas gifts this year.
Oh God. Okay, we have 4 minutes left. Let's jump into some plays. Rapid fire plays. Heard a lot about Tilray, a lot about AutoNation, banks.
I'm gonna see what Tilray does. I'm looking at some $3 puts, trying to decide if I'm gonna go near or November.
I'm in Shell, 52.5 call. Hopefully it prints. Looks like it's a middle segment right now, so we'll see how that plays. And yeah, that's about it right now.
I'll be exiting my DraftKings calls today by the end of the day. It's down on pre-market, and no bang yesterday, so I expect it to go down more, but still going to ride it out on their dime for the rest of the day.
I'm going on XLC puts. Watching that. I have it on the 10-day option, and like there's 9 days till expiration.
0 DTE puts on SPY 366. Buy the ticket, take the ride.
Nice. Looking to buy some PG calls. PG looks promising to finally have some testing of new highs.
PG moved their DivX date to be the same date as earnings. Traditionally, they do this on times when they miss earnings. Just keep that in mind for that play.
Skull, you said 366 puts?
Yeah, looking at it. I'm going to see what I can snag them for it open. Obviously, they'll be more expensive. So if they go up too much, I might drop down to the 365s. But yeah, the guy who's the PG play, just watch out for that, buddy.
I will. It'll be a same day play. I'll be buying it first thing in the morning, selling it by hopefully noon, if not by 1.
I'm looking at Tesla puts for October 21st. I'm looking at 217.50, and then I'm probably gonna flip it before the earnings call for 220, 225 call. So I'm gonna play both sides today. That's my play.
I like IBM November 18 puts 115. They tend to go down after earnings, regardless of what the earnings are, about 15%.
Good luck, everyone.
Hey, we still got a couple seconds. Oh, all right. Guess we're wrapping up for today. Don't forget to check out the streams. Hopefully we'll figure it out tomorrow with live Reddit comments.
Wow.
And yeah.
So we still have 20 seconds to go and we're already dropping listeners.
In that
right.
case, Intel calls. What up? How much further can Intel go down? Yeah. Come on. I got to start picking it up at some point.
It's just how low can these companies go? Bankruptcy.
All right, so that is market open. So thank you all for listening. Try not to lose too much money today, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Nice.
Good luck, everybody.